What's going on, guys? Carmine here, and just a few weeks before Season 8 hits, Dave and Dan dropped kind of a spoiler on us just a few days ago. Now, I say kind of because the reveal is so mundane and kind of meh that it almost spoils nothing, but at the same time, I know there are plenty of you guys who love to go in each season completely in the dark, but I promise it's not that big of a reveal, so you can relax, but I had to give you a fair warning anyways. Speaking of Entertainment Weekly, Game of Thrones showrunners Dave and Dan reveal the reason behind the Night King's motivation and why he does what he does. Now, I'm sure you guys have probably seen a dozen or so videos at this point from crappy YouTubers who have somehow discovered the ultimate, super special, awesome, behind the scenes, like, secret to their true goals, and well, I mean, no offense, but I'm gonna take the word of the people in charge over some random guy trying to clickbait some views. That being said, this reveal does confuse and worry me a little. Confuse me because why would they tell us something like this so close to the premiere? And worry me because was the writing so bad that they forgot to make their motivations obvious? Couldn't Robot Brand not make it clear for us with exposition? Maybe, but Dave and Dan said in the interview about the Night King that I don't think of him as evil. I think of him as death, and that's what he wants. For all of us. It's why he was created, and that's what he's after. So, they're essentially referencing the Season 6 scene in which we see how they were created by the Children of the Forest to fight back against the First Men. However, the show-watching audience wouldn't know too much about this unless they either read the books or bought the Season 2 Blu-ray and binged the hell out of the DVDs like History and Lore's Extra, in which Bran tells the story of how the First Men who came to Westeros and waged war on the Children of the Forest, and how, to stop their invasion, the children used magic to break this landmass that connected both Westeros and Essos. That was their first attempt to halt the influx of people. They tried it again, but they failed and ended up making the neck all swampy and stuff. And I guess the third attempt was to make the White Walkers, and that backfired, obviously. And what's really interesting is that we've seen this type of storytelling before in other franchises. People in a war or trying to prevent one end up creating something that'll be their trump card, and then it ends up turning on them. If I remember correctly, that was the plot of the Terminator series with Skynet, and I think it's now the plot of the Alien franchise when Prometheus came out, the prequel, so yeah. But basically, Dave and Dan just told us that the Night King has no secret hidden agenda. He is death, and he was made for one specific reason: to kill everyone. And personally, I don't know how to feel about that. On one hand, the whole White Walker's purpose has been a major secret for the longest time, ever since Season 1, amongst other things about them, and I felt like what they were really after would be a major reveal that would really, like, shock everybody. But at the same time, have it be something so mundane and cliche as artificial weapon gone rogue seems a little, for lack of a better term, meh. I mean, it's whatever. But at the same time, like, yeah, I guess this makes the most sense, really. If you think about it, they are a force of nature, in a way, and they have one purpose, and that is to assimilate, if not destroy, everything in their path. A natural disaster, or a bioweapon in this case, doesn't discriminate or have any reason to it. It just does what it does. Just does what it was made to do. So, I guess it makes sense. And the other thing the showrunners said is about whether or not we'll get to see the Night King make any grand bad guy speech or even utter a single word, and to that they said, what's he gonna say? Anything the Night King says diminishes him. And I've got to agree 110%. Less is more, and it would allow the character to stay as threatening and menacing as he is. We're already aware of how strong he is in his drive to get things done. Do we really need a personality to go with it? I don't think so. Game of Thrones has already given us bad guys in all of its forms, from bratty little jerks to psychopaths to weaker men scheming from behind the scenes. I think the Night King being the final boss who needs no words would be an okay addition to the show. I mean, if you really want an incredible, powerful villain that has a deep backstory and is compelling in his own way, then I suggest you check out Avengers Infinity War, and the sequel coming out in April as well, Avengers Endgame, because Thanos was so friggin' cool. I love how they wrote him in the movies, and quite frankly, that's a villain done right. We don't need a Thanos for Game of Thrones. As interesting as it would be, I'm pretty okay with the Night King just being a silent antagonist. But overall, their motivation, while important, is not on top of my list of things they need to answer. It's not what they're after that I want to know, but it's why now? After 1,000 years, why did they decide to go on the move now? The main idea is that Westeros has never been as broken and divided as it is now, which is not true. It has been multiple times. Not only that, but what happened to those babies? Were they really turned into pure White Walker generals? If so, can we get a scene of them turning into those things? That's basically all I want from them now at this point for the White Walkers, to answer those questions. Why now and what happened to those kids? And personally, I'm a big fan of the whole Night King is time-traveling Bran, and he's trying to close the loop by killing himself, aka Bran, who is essentially, you know, the person that triggers the events of the whole story, but I'll go into that in another video. It's a crazy theory, and it's one of my favorites. But that aside, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, ring that bell, all that good stuff, and definitely let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.